this is the block that I'm going to be putting in my car. I need to give it a clean up. The head's been off a while. It's my old engine, needs a paint, needs a clean up. So this is my original engine out of my Volvo. The turbo went, the head gasket went at about 200,000 miles. So instead of fixing the head gasket and changing the turbo, I changed the engine for another eBay engine. That's went all the way till last year when it started to knock. So I'm going to transfer everything from the knocking engine onto this engine, give the surface a good clean up the bores. There's no slap on the pistons or anything, so good engine refresh, nice paint job, all the parts from the other engine onto this one, and we should be working again. Looking at my old white block Volvo engine block, it's covered in oil and white aluminium corrosion, so I thought acid would do the job. Turns out that you can use diluted sulfuric acid, and I found some sulfuric acid in some old car batteries that had definitely been diluted because I had to top them up when they went dry with rainwater. So I got this water squirter, and then I took the battery acid out of these old batteries that had dead cells on, poured it into an old oil container, then poured it into the water squirter, put on protective gloves, apron, goggles, face shield, the full works, and then used this pressurized bottle to squirt the acid over the white block to deal with the corrosion. I hope you like the big cracks on my computer screen. That was where the dog had put a button nose into the screen and ruined it, and I just can't afford to replace the £309 monitor. So I gave this engine a spray. Yesterday with the acid, see what had happened. There's the container I used, and all the heavy corrosion has come off. We've actually got some back to metal stuff. So we've got some light surface stuff left over. There's the block surface. So I've ordered some oven cleaner from Mr. Muscle to deal with all this kind of oil, and then I'll be able to get some paint on the block. I'm gonna have to strip back all this canister and cabling and sensors so I can actually paint the block. So that's how she looks a day after being sprayed with acid, which is better, but not as good as I hoped. I hoped it all would be like this metal, so I might give it another spray, but I'm not sure how the Mr. Muscle will react with the aluminium yet either, so I'll just have to wait and see. So I've stripped off the sensors from up here and here, the 13mm bolts, and removed the carbon canister with two 10mm bolts to undo a clip from here. Now I've just got to go around the rest of the engine and make everything clear to be painted. Just wanted to video reference this side of the engine, taking note of what bolts needed to go where. And what there is. Strip back the side of the engine. Now I've got to charge up the impact wrench, see if that'll come off. I noticed that there's a plug going to the top of the filter and a plug going down to the bottom of the sump. I guess that's a water plug, and there's definitely another water plug around here. I'm gonna have to clean up these bores. I'm just gonna get a rag, rub them out, and then pop some oil in there. Turned out wiping that diluted battery acid off the top of the pistons, and it's actually started to remove the carbon buildup. So that's something for you. So I've just chucked some engine oil in the cylinders, stop them rusting any further, and soak down to the rings and stuff. So if she turns over, she'll be lubed. Right, let's have a go. See if this works. Oh, you beauty. I had to take my last one off when the engine was hot. But this came off easy. So I've pulled that off the oil pump and the pulley off that. It's down in the toolbox down there. Well, the parts box. Now to undo these and the torque bits, torque bolts. So I've stripped down this side. Now I've just got to do the back side of the engine. That big rusty drive shaft mount. So I just got my Mr. Muscle in the post. I'm just going to blast it all over the engine. This is stinking so bad. It is like so hard to breathe in here. That's one side all coated up nice. So I've sprayed 1.5 tins on all 4 sides of the engine. It's like it's just about to have a nice wet shave. So leave that for 24 hours. Looks like I've missed a bit there, but it's melted off. And see what a white block has when you have Mr. Muscle oven cleaner on. So I've left the Mr. Muscle on overnight. Must be about 8 hours. And this is what it looks like. And as you should see, all the corrosion has turned to darker stuff. So it looks like Mr. Muscle's worked a treat on the white block. So we've had a lovely reaction with the metal. It's turned it back to the cast alloy. It's not got the white corrosion on. I've still got a bit of grease in places, so I'm going to let this dry off and then give it another blast with the oven cleaner, and we should be able to let it dry and get some paint on it. It's pretty impressive what the old Mr. Muscle does to the white block. So the engine's dried off after being pressure washed, and so it's got a bit of surface white, got a bit of grease left in places. Overall she's loads cleaner, and the metal is actually back to alloy. So I'm going to stick another coat of oven cleaner on, and see what she's like tomorrow. So I'll give it a second spray with the second can, just what was left over from the first spray, and done it all the way around. Leave it soak overnight again now. I've ordered the Blackfriar quick dry metal paint in white, so I'll be able to spray a white from white block to white block, which I'm looking forward to. So it's been the weekend, the paint's arrived, and the white block has turned back into the white block. So I've got to scrape off a bit of stubborn oil and grease before I can give it a paint. I'm going to give it a light sanding to remove as much of the white corrosion as possible. So I've been having a go at this block, and sandpaper was alright. That's where I did a bit of sanding where you can get to it, and I discovered that wire brush was quite effective, but obviously with all these pits and stuff it's quite impossible. So got a bit more to clean out in places, but I'm going to try and get some paint on it. So this is the white block after its first coat of paint. Still tacky, but looking tremendously different. Really loving it. I think it's a fantastic change. I'm looking forward to this, getting it a few more coats on. So here's my white block after it's been painted. Absolutely stunning. I haven't seen anything so nice as this in a long time. Really chuffed with the outcome. It's a beautiful block. I look forward to cleaning up the head surface when the bristle brushes come. Get the sump off, drain the oil out, clean the sludge out, because it is a 200,000 mile motor. And then I've got to get the engine out of the car. So please remember to subscribe, because I need to get that 1,000 subscribers to start getting some money in to do the projects a bit better for you. Right, have a great day, and thank you for watching.